What's good? What's good, everyone? Salute to everyone in the building. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I see y'all in here early. Chris, what's up? She said, "I know I'm late, but dang, hey Jerry, no, you just in time. You good? Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Relax and calm rain. Enjoy the football while this lasts. The season will be over soon. Yes, sir. That's what we always say. Uh, Relax and calm rain also said, salute Jared, Coach 67, chat and panel. Yes, sir. My brother, motivation to be a millionaire. Salute Jared, coach, panel, and chat. And then you, brother already on the panel, he's saying salute to the brother, LDBC family, and chat, brother Brent Fox. Big Reg, salute. Y'all make sure y'all go support this brother. He's a content creator himself, so make sure you support him. And of course, Coach 67 Sports TV. But Brent Fox and Coach 67 Sports TV can speak with themselves. They are my co-hosts. Starting with Coach, how you doing, bruh?
I am blessed and highly favored on the first Sunday in 2026. Hopefully all is well with everyone. Not only you, but your family. Hopefully 2026 has been good to you thus far. And I'm just blessed to be in the land of the living. Hopefully all these brothers doing well. Shout out to Jaguar Nation and shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC. Yeah, dig.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope everyone have a blessed holidays and happy new year for everyone. This is the first show of the 2026 year starting off, man. So I'm so excited to see what this new year, has in store. Salute to brother Adrian Crook. Y'all, if you're a Jackson State fan, run for cover because Adrian Crook is in the building. He said salute to everyone except JSU.
Yes, sir. Man, shout out to Adrian Crook, you dig.
Yes, sir. The famous JSU troll and beloved Southern Jaguar fan. Brent Fox, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's happening, man? I am so happy to be on the panel today, man, despite what's going to happen tonight. It's always good talking to my brothers on this nice Sunday afternoon or evening, wherever you're at.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you on, man. And also, Brent Fox is also a content creator. Make sure y'all go to his channel. Of course, he's gonna do his plug his channel before we wrap it up today. JB, what's going on, brother?
Hey man, I'm blessed. We're starting out this 2026 right, and let's go ahead and have another great show.
Yes, sir. All right, let's go into it, man. We're gonna go talk about college football, the playoffs, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and I was wrong, man. I thought Texas Tech was gonna beat Oregon, but I was wrong. Oregon ended up blowing out the Red Raiders 23-0. Dante Moore didn't have a great game, but he had a good game enough where he did throw an interception, but he managed the game well enough to get the Oregon Ducks the victory. I do want to give a shout out to that Oregon Ducks defense. Number 44, Tua is Samoan brother. Tua T. Number 44, he had 2 sacks. Blake Purchase, the linebacker. They were all over the field, man. Now I will say this, not making an excuse. Oregon won. If it wasn't for Baron Morton, for Texas Tech throwing them 2 interceptions, and if the offensive line could get out, the offense in general, not just the offensive line, could get out their own way, they could have beat Oregon because Texas Tech defense was good as advertised. But if the offense is not doing anything, putting up points or being on the field long enough where the defense can get their rest, the defense will get scored on, and that's what happened. JB, what was your opinion on this game?
I think that game was a defensive game at first. That game is actually closer, than the score let off. Both defenses came to play in the first half. The Texas Tech QB, I don't remember his name. He just Morton. Yeah, they were in the red zones a couple of times. He was throwing picks. Not taking care of the ball. So, but most of the time on both sides of the ball, or I should say both opponents, the Texas Tech defense and the Oregon defense, they were, making it hard for the opponent's offense to move the ball. Until the second half where you see the Oregon kind of had a game plan of what they wanted to do as far as running, dinking, ducking down the field. So, and Texas Tech couldn't get nothing going offensively. Was basically the game.
Yes, sir. That's basically what it was. Coach, did you get a chance to watch the game? The Texas Tech versus Oregon game?
I got to watch some of it, but my mom's crib is the host family house for New Year's holiday or whatever. So for like Christmas and some of the other holidays, I was able to sit down and just enjoy some football. But she had me doing like a lot of ripping and running or whatever. But I did watch some of the game or whatever. She had sent me to go get some ice and put some of the drinks on ice, whatever. And I came back and I was watching the game, and basically, like I was saying, both offenses were kind of struggling or whatever. And I remember basically Oregon's coach was like, hey, defense doing well, this, that, and the third, but the offense needs to move the ball, something to help them out. And that was the thing I was thinking. If Oregon would have been actually able to move the ball more offensively to help out their defense, I mean, it was more of a defensive struggle. And then too often you see like these type of games in the days modern era, especially with teams like Oregon that's synonymous for being, a team that could just put up points and score quickly, especially under Chip Kelly when they was running a tempo type offense. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like it was a good game. And truthfully speaking, it didn't go exactly where I anticipated, but that wasn't a stretch based on what I saw.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to Big Joe Townsend. Salute to the family visiting Pops. We'll try to drop in later. Hey, man, family first. Like I told the brothers backstage, we're gonna be here for a good time, not a long time. Because JB later on gonna drop off and take care of business. So you focus on Pops, man, and appreciate you always supporting. Speaking of,
Man, give him our love, man.
Yes, sir. Give Pops our love, man.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Pops, man. Speaking of Big Joe Townsend, y'all make sure if you drink bourbon, whiskey, whatever, even if you don't, make sure you support Black business and go to www.oldhillsidebourboncompany.com. You can Google it. Even if you don't drink, just get something for the family. Every Black person or everybody in general know someone who loves to drink or likes to have a bottle of bourbon in the house. So make sure you get you a bottle. Make sure you support.
Very smooth according to the family members, Smooth drink.
Facts.
Chris said, Jared, you just send mine to Alabama. I'll be waiting. I hear you, Chris. And shout out to Chris, the homegirl supporting, man. My fellow Raven sister. And Brent, what was your opinion on the game? The Oregon versus
Okay.
Texas, if you watched it.
Yeah, I did get to watch the actual highlights. Now, from what I actually saw, it was a defensive battle, probably right up until maybe mid portion of the third quarter when things started breaking open. But yeah, it was that Tech offense was just bad from what I was looking at. I mean, they didn't get like an overwhelming amount of penalties, but they did get penalties like when they really, when they really shouldn't have. And to your point, they couldn't get out of their own way. And then it was a situation of where they were just so inept that it looked like in some portions of the game towards the end, the defense probably just gave up because they figured that the offense wasn't going to do anything anyway. So, shouts out to Oregon. Yeah, shouts out to Oregon for the win, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If they had a different quarterback, I know they've been raving about Morton all year, and if he healthy, he cost him this game.
Yeah, he looked completely lost.
Yeah. Salute to Jay Barr, always supporting this. He said, salute family in chat. Terrible season for my coach. These referees suck. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We're going to get into what he's talking about when we get to the NFL section of the show. Moving on, but Oregon, I believe, is set to play. We'll talk about it. Let me do one at a time. Let's go on to the next game. So, I was wrong again. I don't know. I picked Ohio State to beat Miami. Those who don't know, or you're living under a rock, the Miami Hurricanes, everybody's saying the U is back. It looks like it. They upset the defending champions, Ohio State Buccaneers, 24-14. Carson Beck.
Buckeyes, family.
What did I say?
You said Buccaneers. He meant Buckeyes.
Buccaneers. I meant Buckeyes. Buckeyes. Ohio State Buckeyes. This crushed your theory, JB. You said that Ohio State and the Alabamas, those programs or those ball clubs are seasoned as far as going in the playoffs and making it to the big dance. I'm gonna go with you first. What happened here?
Miami, I think, and I said it, last week, even though I picked Ohio State, Miami could be, riding on the coattails of, trying to prove everybody that the U is back. However, I did expect Ohio State to win this game. I'm happy for Miami. Ohio State, this is a disappointing season. And this is just what I've seen from top ACC teams in general, where they'll struggle with teams in conference. You know what I'm saying? Like a SMU or somebody. Right. And then they'll play somebody, a SEC team, and then they'll play them tough. Just like Clemson a couple of years ago when they had Deshaun Watson, years back, or Trevor Lawrence. So Miami proved that they do have the weapons. I didn't expect them to have the weapons to stay with, especially that Ohio State defense. That Ohio State defense, is top tier. Some say they, the best in the league. And I was just impressed how Miami, got a rhythm going, especially offensively, and moved the ball and was able to score and run the ball too. That dude Bain, he's gonna be a top 5 pick for somebody.
Ruben Bain
So
Jr. Yeah, he nasty.
yes. So shout out to Miami, shout out to the U, showing everybody that the U is back and they're nothing to be played with this year.
And that creates another question I'm gonna ask after I get the other brothers' opinion on this game. Before I ask Brent Fox, a coach, let me break down the people of the game or the players of the game that did their thing. Carson Beck managed the game very well. He had 19 completions, 26 attempts, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. That's all he needed to do. And Mark Fletcher Jr., beast, man. He only had 90 yards, but against that Ohio State defense, like JB said,
that's good. That's pretty damn good. 90 yards against that top defense, yeah, that's very good.
And he also got a receiving touchdown, Mark Fletcher Jr. Shamar Brown also had he only had 5 carries, but he had the game-sealing touchdown. Mark Fletcher Jr. is my player that stood out to me in this game. Julian Sayin basically threw 2 touchdowns. He had 1 interception, ran back for a TD.
Pick six
to help Miami go over or get to have the lead. That Bo Jackson kid is going to be good for them in the future. And Jeremiah Smith, 7 receptions, 157 yards, 1 touchdown. He's going to be whoever going to draft Jeremiah Smith. In my opinion, he's going to day one. It's going to be an impact. Yes, Chris, they are having a hell of a season. Bang, Mr. Shelton said, "Bang, bang, not a game, damn it." Yeah, and y'all lost too. Who
they lose to again?
They lost
to Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle.
Seahawks put in that work last night,
Yes, they did. But going to you, Coach, what was your opinion on the game?
Truthfully speaking, I just was shocked. I mean, I didn't get to watch it like I want again because leading up to New Year's, I still was doing a lot of running around, but I was just expecting Ohio State to at least get, if not win it all, at least get to, the Final Four, the Final Two. But the fact that Miami beat them, I was shocked more than anything. But
I was shocked too.
But for people saying that the U is back, y'all not back until y'all win a national championship. I'm sorry. I'm unapologetic about that. You got to win a national championship first, and then you back. You can't get to the Final Four or even the finals and you back. You got to win it all to be back to being a U. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Brent Fox, let me know what you thought about Miami upsetting Ohio State.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit surprised because I think if I remember correctly, I also picked Ohio State to win that game. But yeah, shout out to the Miami defense. I definitely underestimated them. Of course, I thought that Sayin was gonna play a lot better, but yeah, their defense actually showed up and showed out. Speaking of showing up and showing out, shout outs to Uncle Mike Irvin.
he was on the sideline cutting up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So shout out to him, and I'm happy for him too. I can't stand them Cowboys, but man, as far as like somebody in the community goes, like he is very impactful in a positive way to like the city of Dallas. Like that's even when he was playing. So, shout out to the Hurricanes just off of principle for that.
Yeah, shout out to them Hurricanes, man. JB, did I already come to you
Yeah.
about the game? Okay. Uh, Chris said, "Come on, get to this Alabama game so I can laugh again." I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Uh, and dang, I'm trying to say, I'm trying to not say so much, but I keep saying when I'm before I got to think about what I'm gonna say next. But let's move on. I'm gonna save the Georgia and Ole Miss game last. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Bama game. So JB, I'm gonna go to you. You pick Bama. You talk all that shit about Bama beating Indiana. Belt to ass. What do young kids say today? BTA, belt to ass.
Yep.
That's what the Indiana Hoosiers did against the Crimson Tide.
Hey, I ain't running for no smoke. Look, man, Indiana made me a believer. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was like a Cinderella story for them. You know, I thought once they played a team that's been there and done that, that's been in the championship, played for, championships and been in important games like this, they would crumble. But apparently, the coach they had on the other side, man, you know what I'm saying? They got them boys coached up right. That defense is fantastic. They running backs, all they running backs is good. They even had a white dude running the ball on Bama ass. Bama is not the team that you know we used to seeing with under Nick Saban when they had Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, and all them boys. Man, I think and this is maybe a little bit too premature, but um, I think Bama being a dynasty, them days is over, especially with the NIL
Mm.
stuff. Um, yeah, it's over. And I think we talked about this. That was one of our topics. I think last year, or this year when they lost to Florida State. You asked that same question as this is the fall of Bama, but you know, in the playoffs, them getting blown out in a playoff game. Yeah, man, this looks bad. Especially old boy that left Washington high and dry. What's the coach name again? Um, his
I'm
name
blanking on the
escapes
name, but I
me.
get your point. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that it makes him look bad. So time ticking for him. Because them Bama fans is not going to um,
Kalen DeBoer.
allow Kalen DeBoer. Thank you. They're not going to allow Kalen DeBoer to keep this job if they gonna keep not producing in important games like that. Bama, the Roll Tide faithful is not going to stand for that. So yeah, shout out to Indiana, man. They made me into a believer.
Yeah, man. Indiana and most of them dudes that's balling out like that, especially on the offensive side of the ball, them running backs, most of them came from James Madison. And these are not highly touted players. But they came with the head coach and they balling with them. So, and that's another question I'm before we move on from college, I want to ask. But coach, and hold on, before I get to you, coach, Chris said Indiana was turning them boys every way but loose. Yes, they were. Uh, Prayerfully, it took long enough. Yeah, people were getting tired of Bama. And I appreciate that, Chris. You said consider your as an ad lib. I hear you. Coach, now I'm getting to you, man. What was your opinion on Indiana beating the brakes off Alabama?
Well, I didn't get to watch the game in its totality. However, it's New Year's. Mama had a crowded house. Like early in the game, me and my cousin was outside playing checkers. And I remember Big Joe, salute to Big Joe. He texted the group chat saying, "Hey, Alabama, my dog walking down." And I'm like, "Nah." I immediately texted back. I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, "It'll be a close game at worst. If anything, Bama will get dog walked." And sure enough, I thought Indiana would beat them, but not dog walking them the completely opposite way that Joe said Alabama was gonna dog walk Indiana. Man, me and my cousin came in the house and we was on the checkerboard, and basically Indiana just was putting belt to ass when it came to Alabama. I'm like, oh my, like it really, I expected Indiana to win. I picked them, but I didn't think it was gonna get out of hand the way it did. And basically at this point, JB was saying Indiana made a believer out of him. No, Indiana made a believer out of me when they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. So at this point, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think Indiana got to be the front runner to win the national championship at this point. I'm not saying it will, but to me, I think they're in the driver's seat. And we were saying how some of these teams hadn't been in a big stage yet. Well, I think Indiana showed last year that they were on the brink. And, people saying they could potentially be a Cinderella type team. I think at this point in real life, Cinderella slipper falls off at this point. And the clock strikes midnight. And I don't see the clock striking anytime soon when it comes to Indiana. Somebody will have to make a doubter out of me. I don't see it. I think Indiana is who people have advertised him to be.
They're well coached, man. Well coached.
Big facts.
Chris said you missed a good one, Coach. He can't caught the end of it, Chris. But
No, you talking about Alabama, Indiana?
Yeah.
Oh no. I caught a good portion of it. I didn't catch like the very beginning of it because we was outside playing under the carport. We was on, for the holidays, me and one of my cousins, we get on the checkerboard and we go at it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie, at first it was like a little chilly. It went from being chilly to being cold. And we were like, nah, bro, we going in the house. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we ended up coming in the house earlier. And, when I first saw it, Indiana was up a little bit. But as progressively as the game went on, it's like, man, it really got out of hand. But of course, the only game I really watched from start to finish was pretty much Ole Miss. And but like you said, that's the last one, though,
Yes, sir. Salute to Anthony Bolton. He says, salute, man. We just talking about college ball, man. Jay Barr said, I've been saying that about Indiana. Yeah, you have. Indiana's the real deal. Brent Fox, what was your opinion on Bama? Oh, yo, hold on, Brent Fox. So, like JB said something interesting. I want to convey it to you. You think the dynasty, as far as Bama, Crimson Tide, that used to put fear in a lot of teams, as far as being stacked and being dominant, you think that run is over?
All right. As far as that second part of the question, no. But as far as like the first part of your question, how do I feel about the loss? Shocked and appalled comes to mind, but not really. I think that Indiana is just having that type of season. And even though I did pick Alabama to win, I ain't gonna lie. I was actually shocked by the way that they won, by the margin of victory Indiana actually had against Alabama. I quite frankly have not seen Alabama done in like that in quite a while. So yeah, it definitely caught me off guard. And that's more credit to Indiana than it is like to Alabama's detriment. Now, what I will say is that, of course, they're probably going to have to either look into like better development for players that they're trying to recruit, out of high school, or they're gonna have to do something different with like people coming from the transfer portal. And what I mean by that is just take like a different strategy as far as taking them in and seeing how they actually will help or how they fit with the program. Don't just get some big name guy that just jumped in the portal and you want to take him. Maybe he's not good for your system. So I think, by making sure that you properly develop your talent that you have coming in out of high school, and then also trying to not be so reluctant to use portal transfers that actually fit your system, and that's very important. Then yeah, you could have an overall better team. And shout out to Coach 67 Sports TV for the live yesterday. There was a segment that he did as far as like Chat GPT helping Southern University out. So it kind of inspired me to do my own little research on that. So salute, Coach.
Shout out to Coach.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. I use it often as a tool, but that's definitely one thing. Like anything you might be stuck on, like you kind of ask Chat GPT, and it kind of give you some insights, some ideas, So yeah.
Okay. And let me go into the stats a little bit. So Fernando Mendoza is that dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, people like Bo Nix, which made out like JB have said, has made us believers. But Fernando Mendoza looks like in college looks like he's gonna be good as advertised when he get to the pros. Of course, we could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm praying the Raiders don't pick him up. I pray that the Raiders do not draft him. They're gonna ruin that man. I hope the Raiders don't pick him up.
He most likely gonna go to the Raiders, Brent. I'm telling you, letting you
They're gonna ruin. They're gonna ruin him. They're gonna ruin him.
We gonna see.
He gonna be another David Carr. Watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If not worse.
Especially if they ain't get that old line straightened up. Gonna be another David Carr. We don't even know if David Carr would be good or bad. He was just every week just getting his ass whooped. Just man.
Yep. Okay. But look at the weapons he have. He has Charlie Becker, who had a touchdown. Just 2 for 51 yards touchdown. Omar Cooper Jr., 3 catches, 45 yards touchdown. Elijah Surratt, which is one of his favorites, other than Charlie Becker and Omar Cooper. 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. And then the sneaky little H-back type tight end, Riley Nowakowski, 3 catches for 36 yards. And then Coach brought over Kalen Black, who had 99 yards, 15 carries, and a touchdown. And then another monster games from Roman Hemby, 18 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. I have a question attached to the coach from Indiana and how this may combat the people complaining about the NIL deals. The NIL deals have ruined college football. As far as the negative, we've already had shows talking about how the positives of why the NIL is needed. But as far as the negatives and wasting money and stuff like that, but I'm gonna say that for later. Let's go into the Ole Miss and Georgia game. So Ole Miss went down to the wire with Georgia. Ole Miss upset Georgia 39-34. Now, a lot of the SEC folks say this is not an upset. This is just a good old SEC rivalry game. I disagree because everybody picked Georgia to beat Ole Miss, even blow out Ole Miss. But Ole Miss ended up pulling out. Another upset. 39, in my opinion, 39-34. JB, going to you first. What was your opinion on this game?
Just like you stated, man, everybody was having Ohio State and Georgia in the championship game. That is no longer a fact. That is no longer a possibility. Um, Ole Miss showed everybody why you shouldn't overlook your opponents. You have to play who's in front of you, and every game you got to treat it like like it's a champ. Well, it is a championship game, well, a playoff game. So I don't know if Georgia overlooked these dudes, but I know something we've been saying on here for the longest, especially Joseph Townsend last week when he was saying it's hard to beat the same team twice.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So Ole Miss, whatever they fixed from that first game they had with Georgia, they fixed it. And that's coaching. And shout out to the players for executing and coming to play. So shout out to Ole Miss. And like I said, I was wrong for this one as well. I expected Georgia to win, those dogs to get it done, and Ole Miss found a way to win with a backup quarterback who, might I add, is really good. You know what I'm saying? This dude
From Ferris
stepped
State, he
up.
won two Division II championship at Ferris State, and he transferred to Ole Miss, and now he's doing his thing. So shout out to that young man.
I mean, you see why people is plucking, some of these top players from these, smaller schools, and you and Coach talk about, these, predominantly white schools, stealing a couple of players from the HBCUs. You see why? Because this can happen. You got people on the bench, players on the bench like this. So shout out to Ole Miss, man. And I think his name is Trinidad, I believe.
Trinidad Chambers.
Yeah. Trinidad. Shout out to Trinidad, man. He balling.
Yes, sir. 30 completions, 46 attempts, 362 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it didn't matter. He came from Ferris State. He knew how to carve up any defense. So Brent Fox had to hop off for a little bit. He's going to try to hop back on. So, Coach, I'm coming to you. What was your opinion on the Ole Miss upsetting Georgia?
This was the nightcap for me from the standpoint of, I had gotten up really early New Year's Day morning. Of course, I can't speak for, other parts of the region, but I know here in South Louisiana, I don't care when I was in Baker or even when I here in Belrose, man, you can hear like fireworks all night long. Bro, I kid you not. Some of these fireworks they have in 2026, they sound like bombs. They sound like gunshots. I'm like, oh my goodness, man. But anyway, watching the game, I was kind of, fatigued. And I'm like, man, this is a pretty good game. For a minute, I thought Georgia was going to pull it out. That when Kirby Smart called that fake punt with the revert, first they shifted, then they gave the wide receiver the little reverse, and then he threw the pass. I thought it kind of gave him a little juice. But I'm not going to lie, Trinidad Chambers. And every time I heard Trinidad, I'm not going to lie, I kept thinking of rapper Trinidad James, or I'll go everything. But that's another story. But anyway, I'm not going to lie, like, they had a lot of grit. There was a minute, like, in the third quarter, I went jump in the shower. And then at the end, I caught it coming down the stretch. And I'm like, man, Ole Miss going to pull this off. And they did. And I'm not going to lie, it was a heck of a game. And, one thing I kind of put in our group chat, Lane Kiffin is now the head coach at LSU. And, of course, in Tiger Lane, they're expecting big things from him. But, during the broadcast, during the telecast of the game, they were saying, like, all of these guys in the playoffs, a lot of these guys coach under Nick Saban, which I was unaware of. But considering he the interim coach, it's like he kind of keeping the train moving down the track. You would think once Kiffin is no longer there, like the players would be like, But it seemed like I guess they're trying to prove like, hey, it wasn't him, it was them. You know, one of my coworkers said this about Southern. He was like, Coach, they got the X's and O's. Now they need to go out and get the Willies and Joes. And I think the thing they kind of prove is, yeah, Kiffin is no longer there. He was on the sideline during the game, not Ole Miss sideline, but he just was. I take that back. He didn't go to that game. He went to the LSU women's basketball game. But I've seen him at certain points during the college football playoffs, and he basically, I guess he wanted to coach their team, but they're like, nah, you won't go to LSU, go to LSU. So I think that's one component that people really didn't take into consideration when they're talking about Ole Miss pulling an upset. The fact that he hasn't even coached this college playoffs. And I wonder this guy that's been coaching him now, I wonder if he's just going to be the interim coach or they're going to make him the full-time head coach. That's kind of food for thought for me anyway,
If he go further in the playoffs, or potentially even make it to the big game.
I mean, if he win it all, it's a slam dunk.
Exactly, yeah. You beat me to what I was going to say.
But, I mean, if he come up anything short, would they really keep him? Because I remember even with Southern, the first go around when he was going to potentially hire Marshall Faulk, they ended up going with the defensive coordinator, Jason Rollins. And a lot of times you go with guys because the players want him. Even Terrence Graves, evidently the players liked him at Southern too. So at the end of the day, sometimes when the players like a guy, you go with it, but it don't always work out though,
Facts. Anthony Bolton said, facts. Brent, college teams need to have a halfway farm system to the high school for the high school athletes and use the transfer portal strategically. Yeah. Ole Miss said, Anthony Bolton said, Ole Miss versus UGA is a good example of what happens when a talented team is motivated by the departure of shady, opportunistic coach. Yep.
Yeah, and that was an excellent point that he brought up. Essentially, I said the exact same thing from a Chat GPT perspective in terms of, using the transfer portal, especially like HBCUs, like in many instances, you get players transferring down from PWI, Power 5, Power 4 schools. From you wouldn't realize how much of a culture shock it is. I don't mean to ramble on, but just to kind of give you real quick example. Like, I went to Southern, but we was able to do this thing called cross-registering classes, meaning you could be a student at LSU and you could take classes at Southern, or you could be a student at Southern and take classes at LSU. I didn't cross-register, but as an educator, I had to take what we call a practice test. And, you start walking around Southern, like Southern's campus is a fraction of the size of LSU's campus, for one. In addition to that, like, I knew where all the buildings at Southern was. I had a map at LSU's campus, and I would stop people that was going to school there, and I'm like, hey, where's this building? And they cannot tell you, and you showing them a map of school. Like, that's how big it is. At Southern, you used to people walking around with Air Maxes and J's, starched down jeans, Jabot jeans, and polos and collar shirts and this, that, and the third. Whereas at LSU, you'll see people just roll out of bed and go straight to class just like that with their pajamas on, you know what I'm saying? And, things like that is like the culture shock you experience when you going like a PWI, you transfer to HBC or whatever the case may be. So when you getting players at the transfer portal, you have to get them at key positions. You just can't like purge your entire roster and expect it to work out unless you like a Kenneth Barrett type coach and you bring in a bunch of players from your previous stop, or you maybe Tremaine Jackson and you bring in a bunch of players from your previous stop. I mean, unless it's those scenarios where you're familiarity with those players and you know them and they play for you, I don't think whitewashing the roster and bringing in a bunch of high-profile players, I don't think they're going to get you where you need to go,
Yeah, I agree, man. I definitely agree. But one question I want to, before we move on from college football, Coach Kirk Cignetti, the head coach of Indiana, I believe he created a blueprint for a lot of coaches who's bitching and complaining about the NIL deals and everything. He kept most of the best players that was on that Indiana roster before he got there, and then of course he picked his players, and then he brought a lot of his James Madison players who are not people like Keelan Black. They wasn't really highly touted in the nation, but they were good. They were ballers, and they know his system. And he brought over some defensive players, but their name escapes me. But Elijah Surratt was another one. Was at James Madison. So, and I know this is old. This method is old, but it looks like this could combat the NIL deals. A lot of people be bitching and saying, okay, I'm not going to be able to get this 5-star or 4-star because we don't have that money to pay those particular players. But what Curt Cignetti has done, just by bringing in a whole bunch of James Madison players, and then you can not just bring up Curt Cignetti, you can bring up Coach Chennis Berry
or Tremaine Jackson.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, I mean those two played head to head in the Celebration Bowl, and essentially they got a bunch of players that they brought up from their previous D2 school. So these are three examples of, from a culture standpoint, if you get a coach that had success like at a lower tier and he bring up a bunch of his players that he has familiarity with, essentially that's the route to go. And it seemed like, Fam, you did the same thing with Quinn Gray, even though he played quarterback for them back in the gap. This is kind of the route a lot of college teams are taking now,
Yes, and it looks like the new offensive coordinator for Colorado, the black offensive coordinator that used to be at Sacramento State, he's doing the same thing. He's bringing over a whole bunch of his offensive pieces.
You talking about Ken Merchant?
Oh,
Ken Merchant was the offense coordinator at Sac State. You talking about the head coach?
Oh yeah, the head coach. My apologies. He's now, because Brendan Marion is an offensive coordinator. He stepped down from being a head coach at Sac State, and now he's an offensive coordinator at Colorado. He's going to implement that go-go offense. Yeah, so now he's bringing in his players from Sac State on Colorado. So a lot of people excited, Coach.
Well, it's the same thing as Southern. Ken Merchant was the offensive coordinator at Sac State, and Marshall Faulk brought him over, and he's going to implement the go-go offense at Southern. So evidently, when it comes to Deion Sanders and Marshall Faulk, the two of them must have some kind of ties to these two guys at Sac State, because both of them going to be implementing the go-go offense at Colorado and at Southern, Of course, Jaguar Nation is happy that Southern brought in Marshall Faulk, but Marshall Faulk brought in Ken Merchant who's the offensive coordinator at Sac State, and he's going to implement the go-go offense. So it seems like Coach Faulk and Deion Sanders have ties to Sacramento State,
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And everybody excited over there in Boulder, Colorado, because they're taking a playbook of what Tremaine Jackson and Chennis Berry and Coach Cignetti is doing. So a lot of people in Colorado is hoping they get that same magic. But we're going to see. We definitely going to see. But JB, what's your opinion? You think this is a good way to combat the negative connotation as far as the NIL deals? Bringing in players that are good ballers, but they not be highly touted or highly recognized in the nation, but they'll bust your ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think some coaches tried to do that. I think with Bill Belichick, when he tried to bring in Gio Lopez, who was a good quarterback at South Alabama, but it turned out, it didn't work out for him at North Carolina. Looks like everything was too fast for him. But the key thing about what the coach from Indiana did and the other coaches you guys referenced is you got to be sure that they know the system you're trying to run. You just can't plug them into, like we talked about it before. If you got an option quarterback, you know what I'm saying, he's going to use his legs. He's not a thrower of the football. Why would you put him in an offense that drops him back 20 to 30 times? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that I see. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with Colorado this year with Caden Salter. Caden Salter is more of an option quarterback. He's not Shador, where Shador likes to drop. He'll drop. Yeah, he's not going to just drop back 30, 40 times in the shotgun and he can move the ball downfield. That's not his game. So it can work, and that, like you said, it can combat the trying to get the 5 or 4 stars. If you can find good 2 to 3 stars, and all that shit don't matter. If they can play they can play. But if we just talking quote unquote getting the 2 to 3 stars, and they fit your system, like Brent said, you can get it to work. You know what I'm saying? But those coaches that you mentioned know how to do it right. They're not going to do like Bill Belichick. They're just going to put, Gio Lopez in, who's mainly running quarterback, and try to drop him back. You know what I'm saying? So that's a wrong way to do it.
Well said. Salute to brother Steph Boone, man. He said, I am in the playback mode. Salute my brothers. No, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for supporting. Yeah, catch the playback when you can. I appreciate you, man. Steph Boone. All right. Yeah. And Brent, you came back just in time. Did you hear about my question regarding the NIL deal question?
No, I missed the NIL deal. I think I left off right at the tail end of the Ole Miss and Georgia game.
Okay. Before I ask the question, what was your thoughts on that game?
Oh, just to simply wrap it up in a nice little bow, you can't let other teams hang around. Regardless of historical like dominance or whatever the case may be, you cannot let another Division I school, especially in your conference, hang around.
Facts. And Brent, I asked a question to the fellas about the negative part of the NIL deal that a lot of coaches complaining about how a lot of these highly talented players, the 4-star, 5-star blue chips, are wanting they want in the bag, but people like Coach Cignetti of Indiana, it looked like they found a method that's been, don't get me wrong, it's not new, but because he had success at James Madison, he's able to take up, like Coach Prime would say, get his Louis and bring it to the new location, and able to operate with his players that he's already created relationships with, and they know the plays and know his system. And these are not like Kaline Black, that running back that ran all over Bama. He wasn't a highly talented running back. Don't get me wrong, he's a good running back. I'm not saying he wasn't good coming out his state in high school, but nobody was really talking about him like that as far as the nationwide. And look what he did to that Alabama defense. So my question is, you think this is a good way to combat the negative connotation of the NIL deal?
Yeah, and I think that actually just winds up going back to player development and making sure that these guys actually fit into whatever system you're trying to install. So yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good approach um, to making sure or ensuring that your program is successful. But at the same time, you do have to kind of look out for some of the guys that may appear to be like fool's gold, or guys that may be overhyped or something of that nature.
And that's what's
Um,
good about it, Brent. Like the people like Elijah Surratt and Kalon Black, he brought over from James Madison. Coach Signetti know they're not fool's gold because they balled out at James Madison. So that's a good point. Go ahead.
yeah, I was talking about the other end of it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just talking about the other end of that, the other end of that particular situation. Like, maybe other coaches seeing the portal as a tool to get some high notoriety person into their program to help bolster it, and they're not a good fit. I was just talking about the other side of it.
Yes.
But yeah, to your point, yes. Nobody that isn't that hasn't really studied that program that Coach Signetti came from wouldn't probably think much of Black. But yeah, to your point, he's making waves now. But but to be quite honest with you, if you look at his James Madison film, that talent has always been there. It's
Yep.
just that he needed an opportunity on a bigger platform to prove it. But yeah, that guy works hard to be as good as he is, because to your point, he wasn't he wasn't really recruited at all. Damn near. I think that he he wound up going to James Madison because I think that was one of the three programs that maybe offered him something. So yeah, you never know with these guys. And with college, man, everybody, if it works the way that it's supposed to work, everybody's supposed to be the man from high school. And it just kind of depends on which district and everything else you come from.
Facts. Facts, man. And Anthony Bolton said 2 and 3 star players are just 4 and 5 stars waiting for the right opportunity to shine. Yes, sir. And he said 100. Yep. Yep. Like JB said, all that stuff don't matter. What it matters was what's on the field, what is done on the field. But let's go into the NFL, fellas, as we try to wrap things up, man. So while the playoff picture is being set, today is the last regular season game for a lot of teams. So we've already talked about last show about who's in the playoffs, who's out. What we gonna do since we got a Ravens fans and a Steelers fan in here? We just gonna go ahead and talk about the game that's gonna happen later on tonight. So we got Pittsburgh, Baltimore Ravens. Winner goes home. And you see Brent with his Steelers hat. So I'm gonna go with you, Brent. So, because both of our coaches, if any of us lose, it's not guaranteed that our coach may be with the team going into the new year. I don't think John Harbaugh, win or lose, is going anywhere. This is me personally. JB will go into that once he get his chance. But Mike Tomlin, I hear a lot of Steelers fans want him out after this season. So, Brent, do you think if y'all lose tonight, is Mike Tomlin gone?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, brother. And we were kind of like talking about this offline before the show. Coach Tomlin, and this is coming from people that are actually inside the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. This is not somebody that is kind of like a he said, she said thing. This is somebody that is actually in the program. Okay, they are in the organization. Coach Tomlin ain't going nowhere. Sorry, guys. For those of y'all that, chanted fire Tomlin when we lost to the Bills and all of that, it's not going to happen. Even if we get woodshed whooped against the Baltimore Ravens tonight, Coach Tomlin's still not going to lose his job. All right. Now I will say that his extension, I think, is for maybe the next 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Now we may not renew his contract, but I don't think that he's gonna get fired. Now, what I will say to that is if there is, for whatever reason, like an implosion, and then it's clear and obvious that the players aren't receiving what he's saying, in that case, yeah, I could probably see him losing his job at that point. But that's something that's unprecedented. So, no, to the people that actually feel like Coach Tomlin gonna lose his job once we lose to the Ravens, and I'll reemphasize that, once we lose to the Baltimore Ravens, Coach Tomlin is still going to be employed by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Brent. So y'all, you don't think y'all have a shot at winning this game?
Yeah, we definitely have a shot. It's gonna probably wind up being a rock fight for most of the game, but I don't trust this team, to be honest with you. This team, I knew once we got down to the final 3 games, we was gonna lose one of those 2 between Cleveland and Detroit. Now I was thinking more sensibly, like, okay, we might lose to Detroit, but we'll turn around and beat Cleveland, and then we'll turn around and maybe have a shot to beat Baltimore. We wound up beating Detroit controversially, and then we wound up, as kind of I feared or expected, losing to the Browns. Now it's all on the line against y'all, and then how am I supposed to trust that? Like, if things are on the line and I'm dealing with somebody that's shaky and inconsistent, I'm not gonna trust you. The only thing that I ask y'all Baltimore Birds fans to do is please don't bring Derrick Henry's birthday cake out in the middle of the field and have him eat birthday cake in the middle of Acrisure Stadium. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, well.
No, it's meant to be laughed at. That's why I got on my headline, we going 9-8. We going 9-8.
Okay, JB, do the Baltimore Ravens win, or because we still got John Harbaugh, do we find a way to louse it up?
Me listening to, I won't be surprised, if we find a way to lose. But listening to the other Baltimore Ravens content creators, I think one thing about John Harbaugh, when his ass about to lose his job, he be coaching his ass off. For example, when that year that Joe Flacco was playing really bad and it was Lamar rookie year, and he made a quarterback switch. You know what I'm saying? So people was, just like now, people was calling for his job. So that's the type of dude he is. He'll play around, try to do it his way, doing experiments. I won't go into that because I'll go into a tangent. His experience with the O-line and not playing the right people, when they, you should be playing certain people. I don't think he does that today. I think mainly because he knows what's at stake. I don't think win or lose, he's gonna lose his job. He should be. To me, if he should lose his job because what he done this year is a fireable offense. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the beginning of the year, on paper we had a Super Bowl team, and for us to go 8-8 is disgusting. For you not to play the people you're supposed to play, especially in the interior line, is ridiculous. It's this is how you end up like Washington. This is how you end up like the other teams, the Bengals, playing not doing what you need to do to protect your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You end up on the wrong side of the win and loss column. But to answer your question, man, if we win or lose, I don't think Harbaugh going anywhere. He should, but he's not.
Okay, and this is a hypothetical question I'm asking it with Brent. I know you don't think you don't have faith in this ball club right now, but if just hypothetically, if your Steelers were to win, how do they do it?
By controlling the ball on offense and just making sure that we are able to contain Derrick Henry on defense. As crazy as it sounds, our best chance of winning is to make Lamar Jackson throw the ball. If we are able to make Lamar actually just try to make decisions downfield, and as crazy as it sounds, if we force him into situations to where he's not extending plays, where he's just strictly having to run the ball, then I think that as crazy as it sounds, I think that may help us too. So anything to get the ball out of Derrick Henry's hands is probably going to help us win.
All right, JB, same question is going to be presented to you. How do your Baltimore Ravens win against the Steelers tonight?
Okay, I'm gonna give you two perspectives. Well, two ways. One way on the defense side of the ball, hit everything short. If they try to go for the short route, especially to the tight ends, hit them hard, like we did with the Washington, their tight end that broke his arm. I think we knocked him out the game when we played Pittsburgh the first time. So I just need that aggressive defense. I know they secondary and the defensive line getting pressure has not been there this year, and we've been giving up a lot of plays. But this game, I need the defense to show resemblance of that old defense. Baltimore Ravens defense, hit everything that moves. I need you to hit Aaron Rodgers on every play. I'll take the 15 yards. Just hit him every play. Make him uncomfortable. They don't have no receiver. Do not let Scotty Miller. Do not let Valdez Scantling. Do not let any of them guys beat you deep.
Adam Thielen.
You know what I'm saying? Just control the game. Just like along with like Cleveland did. Do some man
to man, yep.
Man to man. Disguise it with coverage. Act like you're gonna go man coverage. Don't stay in zone too long. But however, on the defensive not defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, I need our offensive coordinator to play and call the game of their life. I need him to knock this defense off balance. I need you to bring back the QB options, the RPOs. I need you to bring that back. Hell, do what Pittsburgh did last year when they brought in Justin Fields. Bring in Snoop if you need to. If Lamar, doesn't look like himself, I need you to make Patrick Queen shoot the gap like he usually do because he played at 100%. Make him attack a spot, and then I need Lamar, whoever the quarterback is, to make the right decision. I need us to play finesse ball. We can't be physical with this team. I think we can be physical later on in the game where we just lean on them and run Henry. But right now we need to run their ass. So we need to do RPOs, make them. So I need to see a couple of draws, make their ass pay for being so aggressive, especially those great defensive ends they got. They want to run up the field and attack the quarterback. Yeah, we're gonna hit your ass with a draw. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we win this game, man.
RP run pass option. So would you risk running Lamar too much with?
We have to. We have to. They look, man. Derek Harmon is back. Hayward is acting like he don't age. He's having another great year. We need to make them pay for being aggressive. Patrick Queen, I loved him in Baltimore. But one thing I know about Patrick Queen is he over pursues a lot sometimes with his speed. He can't slow down. So just like last year we made him do when we ran RPO. Let Lamar I'll tell you what we do. We'll just on the RPO, we just give it to Henry. They can stop it a bunch of times. Just give it to Henry. Give it to Henry. And as soon as they try to hit Henry again, I need Lamar or Huntley, whoever the quarterback is, to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Because last game they was not respecting the RPO. They were just going straight at Henry because they knew Lamar. They think Lamar is not himself. So if they do that shit this game, I need Lamar to keep it and strike 6 on their ass. So
okay, and look who. Go ahead, JB.
No, I was gonna say that because TJ, I was just watching the All 22 film. TJ always, he didn't react to Lamar when we ran the RPO because I guess they knew Lamar wasn't 100%, so they would attack Henry. They afraid of Henry, so we need to use that as our advantage. So if they thinking Henry's gonna get the ball, Lamar needs to keep it and make them pay.
Yeah, but
Go ahead, Jay.
that is risky considering he coming off injury though.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Hey man, it's nut cut time. Everybody hurt. Anybody that play football, you know, coach, it's the end of the year. Everybody hurt. You sore. You got a hamstring. You had a hamstring injury. Wrist hurt. Hand hurt. Finger hurt. Everything hurt. It's nut cut time, man.
Okay, and then we got brother Big Joseph Townsend joining us, man. What's going on, Big Joe?
What's good with y'all, man? Happy New Year. You dig what I'm saying? How's everybody doing today?
Salute to you, Big Joe.
Happy New Year, brother. We're doing good.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year.
Sorry for the tardiness, but I had to come in and get a little bit of this cooking y'all got over here.
Sounds good to us, man. Yeah, you a little bit tardy, but you not late, if you know what I mean. So what you wanna? You got any feedback on the playoff games?
Oh man, let me see. I'll say this. Let me apologize the University of Indiana. Let me apologize for doubting y'all. Let me apologize for not believing in y'all. You guys are a legit team. You guys are the truth. You guys have a phenomenal coaching staff. You guys have phenomenal players. And you guys have a real legit chance to win a national championship. So out of everything I would say, I send my apologies to the University of Indiana. And I will say, shout out to Ole Miss for beating Georgia. I picked Georgia to win that game. One thing that people didn't take into account was that if Lane Kiffin left, that the team was going to tank and everybody going to be in the tanks. The team literally rallied around each other and took the stance of, this mother effer left us here. We still brothers. Regardless if we have a coach or not, we all work out together. We all hit the weight room together. We bleed together. We play the games together. The coach is just there. You know what I mean? We bake the cake. We bake the cake and everything. Only thing the coach do, put a little icing on it. So we already know what to do. All we gotta do is go out there and play ball. And the fact that they didn't quit on each other and that they played through adversity just shows the kind of character that the team has with or without their former head coach. So shout out to Ole Miss.
Shout out to Ole Miss, man. Shout out to Ole Miss and shout out to like JB said. And JB had to hop off. He has to go. We're gonna wrap it up as well. After I ask Big Joe some questions. But Trinidad Chambliss, man, he before he came to Ole Miss, I should say, he won 2 Division II championship with Ferris State.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see why.
Yeah. And the notion of that, there's an old notion if you good, the scouts are gonna find you. Well, if you Khalil Mack and you from Buffalo, well, if you're from an HBCU, well, if you're a Jeff Garcia at Sounds A State, if you're a good player, they gonna find you. The brother was at Ferry State, transferred and has played his last year at Ole Miss, and is advanced in the playoffs. When you're a baller, you're a baller. Sometimes, players are what they call late bloomers. You just need a little more. You just need a little more time, whether it's through youth, whether it's through confidence. For me, I graduated. I finished my senior year playing high school ball at 16, so I could have used an extra year or two to to fully develop. But some players are ready, some players are not. So shout out to him. But I must also give a shout out before I forget. Lord have mercy. What's that kid named from Texas Tech? That kid Bailey? Lord have mercy.
He was.
Hey, you want
somebody gonna get a steal in the draft, bro?
When scouts watch a player, they want to see, does he jump off the screen? Does he jump off the tape, as they say? That kid Bailey jumps off the tape. So I'm gonna say this because some of y'all ain't gonna like it. Y'all know Bailey from California. You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Stanford first.
We got some ballers out here, and they ain't just quarterbacks. You dig what I'm saying? He from Irvine, California, went to Stanford, got his bachelor's degree in less than 4 years, transferred to Texas Tech and worked on his master's and balling. I think he's All-American, I think. So
12 sacks, hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard he's like a top 20 pick or whatnot. He's explosive, he's quick, he's fast, he has a vertical. I mean, they say he's an outside linebacker. I mean, he looked like Von Miller. Literally, give him a little more NFL training. You know what I mean? He out there, no visor, no gloves, no tape, no spat, no sleeves. Just give me some gear, coach, and I'm balling. Just give me some cleats and helmet and let me go. Shout out to Bailey, man. Yeah, I was really impressed by the kid. Shout out to him.
I don't know if he gonna be there when we pick the bottom. I hope we pick him.
Mm-hmm.
We need a pass rusher bad. Father. Most likely not, but yeah, David Bailey is a beast, man.
Mm-hmm.
From Orange, California. Yes, sir, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
But and I also one of the questions before I asked about the the final question, the Steelers and the Ravens game. But do you one question I do want to present to you, Big Joe, and I asked all the other brothers. Do you think what Coach Signetti did is a good way to combat the negative connotation as far as the NIL deals, where a lot of the schools are trying to fight for the better talent, or they may not have the money to give certain players. But what Signetti did, he was like, okay, I'm gonna come from James Madison, which I did well, and I'm gonna take my dog,
Mm-hmm.
Kalon Blacks, the Elijah Surratts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna carry him over to Indiana, and we're gonna do the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
these are not highly these wasn't
Right.
5 stars.
5 stars or blue chip players, but they dogs.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to combat the bitching about a lot of coaches saying they can't get all the 4 and 5 stars. Just create an atmosphere, as Coach said, a good atmosphere where players know your system.
Well, in today's landscape of college, nobody's even recruiting 4 or 5 stars anymore. Everybody's getting players out of the transfer portal. When, like, a perfect example, Johnny Manziel, he said when he came out, he was like a 3-star. He says with today's college ball, he wouldn't have got no big time scholarship offer. He would have to do like a Chambliss did and go to a Ferry State or go to a smaller school, ball out, then transfer later. You know what I mean? So everybody's getting kids from other schools, smaller schools, and building up their program that way. I think only Oregon is one of the teams that I've seen that's actually developing and playing like freshmen. Mostly everybody has sophomores and seniors juniors and seniors on their team. So the days of you getting somebody red shirting and letting them develop is gone now. Everybody's getting somebody out of the portal because everybody's trying to win now. Everybody needs that instant success. If not, you're going to lose your job in the landscape of college football. So this is the perfect example. Is the reason why Deion Sanders, everybody looking at him a little sideways like, man, this might be your last year. Because he had instant success. Everybody transferring from Jackson State to Colorado. And then now when those core players are gone, who did you really develop? To take over the mantle and to keep building your program. So I know Colorado just got the wide receivers Scudero, who was at San Jose State this past year. So he just transferred over there. So that's kind of what's going on. So the days of 4 and 5 stars, it's not really necessary. You can get you a player from a lower team school who is ready to ball out, who's fully developed and ready to go. A lot of times when it comes to these other players, they just didn't have the opportunity, just wasn't developed yet or whatnot. But, we've seen a lot of these guys, right? Because we've seen these, let's say, big time 4 and 5 star programs. So you see these guys like Georgia and Alabama and LSU, they having a hard time winning games. So nowadays, it's all about getting players to fit your system. Well, if they're coming from Rice, well, if they're coming from UTEP, well, if they're coming from North Texas, if they can ball out, they're going to ball out. So that's the landscape now. So the days of 4 and 5 stars are gone. Because even if you are 4 and 5 stars, most of them now are coming in, they're transferring their freshman year anyway. So, so to me, the 4 or 5 star thing is dead. It's not like it was when I was coming up. If you had a 4 or 5 star tag, man, you can walk around, like you King Tut. Now that don't mean nothing now. So, but if you can get some core guys that now Indiana's having a good team this year. I wonder how they're gonna do next year because most of their players are seniors. So can he reload and have a good year next year? Or is it gonna be like Colorado where they have a drop off year? Or be like Washington after the coach left, the program got decimated. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, and the reason why
Yes.
he brought that up was because, we looked at how Kenneth Berry transferred from Benedict to South Carolina State, and he brought a bunch of players from South Carolina State with him, even though it's a lower level. In year one at South Carolina State, he went to the Celebration Bowl. In year two, he won it. Same thing with Tremaine Jackson with PV. He brought a bunch of players from Valdosta State, and first year he won the SWAC and went to the Celebration Bowl. So we kind of see a trend with these guys who had success on the lower level. They're moving up to a higher level, and they bring a lot of players with them that already know their system. So we just was kind of making that connection. Since he came from James Madison.
Right.
Yeah, man. It's definitely. I feel like that's your answer right there. Instead of whining about the players that are good and they want the bag, do what these coaches are doing.
Well, there's only so many players making the bag. You
Exactly.
maybe have same thing with an NFL roster. Everybody's not making millions of dollars. You only have a handful of guys who getting paid $300,000-$400,000 a game. Everybody else, I'm not saying this is not a lot of money. You have a Cam Newton who gets $600,000 a game. Some guys only getting $10,000 to $20,000. That's still a lot, in reality. But everybody's not a multi-millionaire in the NFL. So same thing in college. Everybody's not getting an NIL deal. So a lot of players entering this portal. A lot of them may be stuck at home. So we gonna see.
Yes, sir. We definitely gonna see, man. And one of the questions I've asked the brothers, man, do you believe Bama, as far as their reign of being the dominant dynasty, college football is over?
I'll say yes, and I'll say this because even before Nick Saban left, Alabama was losing its luster. The Alabama coin wasn't as shiny even when Nick Saban's last several years. Hence the reason why he retired, because he couldn't keep up with the new landscape of the NIL. So, like I said, Nick Saban is used to grabbing his rings, putting them on the table. If you want to come to Alabama, you can get one of these. It ain't like that no more. You have in Indiana who's balling out. Miami has a bunch of transfer players and they're resurging. You have an SMU, or you have these lesser tier teams who are now getting elevated past these powerhouses because they're winning in the transfer portal and they're developing players. Alabama has just lost their luster because you even have Alabama transfer players playing at Colorado, Arizona, playing at what you call like a SMU or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe their reign is over unless they can get, let's say, a Nick Saban prodigy to go in there and try to restructure everything, or unless the old ball coach decides he wants to come back and coach again. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to chill out with an advisory role and have that offense looking over the field. But I believe they lost their luster. I believe even like a LSU has lost its luster. Obviously a Florida Gator team has lost their luster. So a lot of these powerhouse schools we've seen used to win over the years. Even Texas is having a hard time trying to get back to prominence. Texas ain't won national championship since Vince Young was quarterback. Yeah. So
that's true.
Shout out to Cole McCoy. He got them there and broke his shoulder, and that was it. But So a lot of these big programs, it's been a while. So, but yeah, to answer the question, I think the reign for Alabama is over because the modern landscape of how they were successful in college football is over. Perfect example is the University of Nebraska. How they play ball in the 90s is not how they play ball no more. So, it's what it is. It's time for it. Hence the reason why some folks hate NIL, but they love it because the teams who are always winning and usually winning ain't winning no more. So if it wasn't for the NIL, will we see Indiana doing what they're doing? Will we see some of these other teams coming up out of nowhere doing what they're doing? Like, will we see a James Madison in the playoffs? Probably not. So NIL is working in some ways.
Yeah. And last question I asked the fellas, man. And I'm gonna get Coach first before I come to you, Big Joe. When it comes to the Baltimore Ravens and Pittsburgh Steelers game, based on what you heard JB and Brent say, how you think things will pan out tonight? Coach, can you hear me?
My bad, bro. I'm talking on mute. My bad.
You good?
Anyway, I think this game is kind of reminiscent of the Panthers and the Bucks. Neither one of those two teams wanted to win the NFC South. It really took the Falcons beating the Saints to get the Carolina Panthers to win the division at 8-9, which ain't saying nothing. So I kind of view the NFC North the same way. Me personally, I ain't really gonna go deep in how it's gonna pan out on the field, but I got the Ravens backing their way into the playoffs.
Okay. Big Joe. Whoever wins is in. Whoever loses, go home.
Yes, sir.
How you think tonight pans out between Pittsburgh and Baltimore?
To give my honest opinion, to take my L1C4 Cardinal bias out of everything, I really have no clue how tonight gonna go.
That's real.
I really have no clue. Lamar Jackson, one of my alumni brothers, my dog. I don't know how he gonna look. He's not having an MVP season. He's hampered by an array of injuries, especially a hamstring injury. As somebody who almost tore the hamstring off the bone, I know how painful that is, and that's gonna pretty much a hamstring injury is gonna carry you throughout the whole season. It's not gonna go away until you're not playing ball and resting. The big part of Lamar Jackson's game is his explosiveness and his ability to make plays happen and to run and to gain 30, 40 yards if need be. He don't have that no more. He doesn't run a 4-2, 4-3. He runs a 4-6, 4-7. He's looking to pass. He ain't looking to run. Before we would say, Lamar, look to pass. Stop running. Well, Lamar can't run now, so he has to pass. So the Ravens only going to go as far as Lamar going to go, and I don't know how Lamar going to look. And then with the Steelers, they don't have DK Metcalf. DK is still out. And the last time the Steelers didn't have DK Metcalf, they lost to the Browns. So, they both need to win. I have no clue how it's going to go. But I'm going to put my bias back into play, and I'm going for the Ravens. Not because I want the coach to keep his job, but because, I want Lamar Jackson to win. But I will say this. If the Ravens win, they hobbling into the playoffs. I don't expect them to make it past the first round because their defense is shaky and their offense is even shakier.
That's real.
So if the Steelers win and they get into the playoff, they'll get DK Metcalf back. But I don't see them getting past the first round either. So either way, whether it's this week or next week, it's still 1, 2, 3 Cancun. You dig what I'm saying?
So you saying we Baltimore Ravens and the Steelers are that team in high school that's fighting for a playoff berth, but the first round in the playoff you playing the defending state champions? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying.
Pretty much.
I'm just saying. Well, if it's this week or next week, everybody put your hands in the middle. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Like Jamar Chase said, they asked him what you're doing in the off season. He said, I'm gonna do what everybody else told me to do. I'm going to Cancun. Well, Jamar Chase is going to see Lamar Jackson either this week or next week in Cancun. Jamar Chase is going to see either Aaron Rodgers. Well, he's going to be on Hawaii. They're going to see him either this week or next week in Cancun. It is what it is. But I got the Ravens winning. Barely.
In fact, hey, you can add the Carolina Panthers to that list too, because I don't see them making it past the first round either.
Oh yeah, Atlanta won today, huh?
Yep, Atlanta won, so Carolina in.
Yep. Okay. And Stephen Boone said Ravens gonna win tonight. Who is Rodgers gonna throw to? Boy, if you watch my Ravens this year, we under John Harbaugh, we can find ways to mess it up. Make Aaron Rodgers look like the old Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay with these piss poor wide receivers.
Shout out to my dog SB. But I will say this. SBZ. It don't matter who we can or can't throw to. If you ain't got no pass rush like the Ravens don't, you can throw it to whoever open. Well, if it's big old Washington or whoever, if you got time back there, he gonna find somebody.
Washington out for the rest of the year, thank the Lord.
He out too?
Yep.
Yeah, he broke his arm.
Well, if you ain't got no pass rush, you gonna throw it to somebody. Now we gonna see if these folks can catch.
Yeah, if we smart. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Now go ahead, brother Brent, the Steelers Central analyst on this channel. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir.
If we're smart, we're going to try to throw the ball to Pat Freiermuth, our tight end, and try and get Jonnu Smith involved as well. And then we want to make sure that we try to get the ball to Kenneth Gainwell in space. So I would look for those three to be featured pass catchers tonight, if we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Hey, to my case in point, we're going to see who can catch the ball. Because it looks like he's going to have time today.
Yeah, that's what JB said before he hopped on. With the pass rush, got to make Aaron Rodgers comfortable. If not, then he going to make them connections. Like Chris said, with our secondary, I can throw for 500 yards on us. Yeah, facts. Man. We definitely gonna see. But we gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. This was a good show, like always. Big Joe, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you, and please plug in Old Hillside Bourbon Company.
Yes, sir. You can catch me on all LDBC platforms, showing love to the brothers and sisters of the mighty. You dig? Happy New Year to everybody, or my pops would say Happy 4th of June Easter to everybody. A little fashion tip for all you brothers out there: when you're trying to dress, color tones are important. Your skin tone and the colors that you wear on them make a difference. If you're a dark skinned brother, certain colors like red gonna pop off. I'm a light skinned brother, certain colors like caramel, maybe even yellow will look a little better on me. So just be aware when you're dressing, dress to the point to where things will look good on you. Don't throw on something that's gonna look off, because whether you want to admit it or not, your skin tone does look better with certain colors of clothing. So don't just wear any and everything. Don't be a mannequin. The way you see something on a mannequin, you just like won't wear it. It might not look good on you. You know, so I'm a big brother. Anything on the mannequin ain't gonna look good on me. So especially when you got a size 14, 15 shoe, yeah, it's gonna look different. But Over Hillside Bourbon Company, you all see on the screen, or hillsidebourboncompany.com or hillsidebourboncompany.com. We have a new blend coming out this year. I don't know the release date yet, but it's going to be early this year. It's the Harlem Hellfighter blend. This is whiskey that has been aged in a red wine barrel. I haven't tasted it yet, but from what I've been told, it's going to taste immaculate. This is our tribute to the Harlem Hellfighter. So we're going to have 3 different collectible bottles that everybody can purchase. I will let y'all know when that is, but we have all of our other whiskeys online at oldhillsidebourboncompany.com. Unless you're in Kentucky, North Carolina, West Virginia, Alabama, California, and also in Hawaii. When they're in stores in those areas. You have any questions? You want to know anything else regarding the company? Leave something in the comments and I'll reply to y'all whenever I can. Y'all be easy. Have a good week. Stay safe. And spend time with your family this year. A lot of wickedness going on outside, a lot of uncertainties with things in the world. Spend time with your families and your loved one, and y'all stay safe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope y'all listening. Thank you, Big Joe. Brother Brent Fox. Let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
All right. I can be found on YouTube, usually on Thursdays, with the It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Fox podcast. So y'all please support and check that out. I also want to recommend my brother, Coach 67 Sports TV. I know that he can do his own plug, but I just want to make sure that I show him some love too. But he has a plethora of content for the Southern University, and he happens to be the best content creator for Southern University on the face of this planet. So y'all check him out.
Damn straight. Damn straight. And finally, my brother, Coach 67 Sports TV. Let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Before I get to the plug, just to kind of piggyback on Big Joe's point, like some of the bigger schools, they're starting to get elite level talent from the HBCUs. Shout out to our brother Jay Good. He just sent me something where former Jackson State running back Ahmad Miller visited Syracuse, and not only that, former Alabama State wide receiver Jalen Jones is committed to Texas Tech. So PWI Power Fives, they're starting to use HBCUs as breeding grounds to get elite level players. But it is what it is. It kind of proves the point that we was talking about earlier. But you can catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube. I'll be back on the block in about 24 hours for episode 21 of the Tailgate Party on my YouTube channel, talking about what I just talked about in terms of, Power 4 PWIs using HBCUs as breeding grounds. And I'm talking about Marshall Falk, how he's addressing the transfer portal for Southern University. And also, you can catch me Thursday for another edition of HBCU Fanatics on this channel. And then next Saturday, we're going to have another episode on this channel. Since we're getting back to the off season of the black man's perspective, we will get all the brothers on the same accord. And of course, the ultimate goal in 2026 is to get these other 2 content creators that's on the panel with me right now, try to get them to 1,000 subscribers too. So we're going to keep the ball rolling. And shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC. Yeah, dig.
Yes, sir. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And this was another wonderful installment of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all be blessed, man. Enjoy the night. Enjoy football.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.